So, let's look at the other Sashley video. Last time we streamed, or I streamed, I guess, we looked at Goat Cato's first video on the quote-unquote new Sashley drama. It's not new drama, it's just a troll trying to respark the flames of the original drama by using most of the same fucking shit that I debunked before, as well as a bunch of other shit that doesn't fly in the slightest. Goat Cato did a video debunking a good chunk of it. However, they did a second video where it was supposed to cover things that Poopy Butthole got right. And considering there were at least 2 things in Goat Cato's video where they said that Poopy Butthole was correct and I disagreed with them, I am curious to see what is going to be stated here. So I figured we could go over that. There's Sashley drama? No, it's just idiot trolls trying to respark the drama to troll Sashley and harass her, basically. I'm not fucking shocked in the slightest. Poopy fucking Butthole LMAO. Right, like the name itself sort of just showcases you to that it's like an obvious troll. Is their name? Yes, their name actually was Poopy Butthole. Poopy's channel. The account is called Poopy Butthole. It's so obviously a fucking troll account. Whatever.
Sashley is not fucking innocent, dude. Do I support her? What the hell? I literally stated in my video that instead of necessarily calling people out, I like to call out the bullshit in situations, or at least review them, or put some research into them to see whether or not the claims hold any grounds or not. It's not that fucking hard to understand that. Hi, my name is Goat Cato, or Trish, whatever the fuck you want to call me at this point. And yeah, I wasn't necessarily expecting to make this video, but I felt like it's important that I address a few things. Also, please note that I don't fucking use she, her pronouns. Please stop misgendering me. I'm not a woman. So I already know that there's gonna be transphobic trolls and haters most likely misgendering me in the comments.
Yes,
which
for a refreshment on last time, Goat Cato is trans mask, and as far as I'm aware, they use he, they pronouns, or just he. I'm not entirely sure. Whatever. If you're not sure, it's always a safe bet to use they.
Okay, whatever. I don't really care. Suck my dick, you little bitch. Okay, so it's come to my attention that a lot of you guys think that Sashley is innocent, and you think that I'm defending her, when in reality, that was actually never my intentions with the video that I made about the 2022 situation. So I'm going to make this video to try and address some things, including what Sashley did do wrong, because in my previous video, I was mainly trying to emphasize what she didn't do wrong and clear up some.
I want to mention Poopy Butthole did have very good points, though. We'll go into that later in the video.
Accusations that either didn't hold much substance or were false. However, that did not mean that Sashley was 100% innocent of the things that she is being accused of, as the majority of those accusations actually do hold weight. However, it seems that some of the kids watching my video don't really have that much of an attention span and tend to take what I'm trying to say the wrong way. So, this video exists. I want to say something loud and clear for the people in the back. I am not a fan of Sashley. I have never genuinely supported her, and I never will. Also, I'm not really her friend, though for some reason in her server I have the friend role, which, okay, I guess. So let's hop into the video. I also want to state that I want to go over some of my flawed points in my last video and explain my current beliefs on them as Poopy Butthole, I'm sorry, goofy fucking username, as
troll fucking username. I feel like that's really obvious.
Poopy and some other people in the comment sections have actually educated me more on the manner, and there's some things that I actually feel bad about defending or saying.
Oh, there were more people in the comment? Okay, hang on. I want to go look at that comment section then. Sashley's Black Lives Matter statements are based. Yeah. I love drama. I may as well make my own. Prawn is amazing. That was also not a joke. At some point, Sashley said Ash is 10, and she denied it to my friend. I need to find proof, but I know she said Ash was 10 and then drew suggestive art before changing her to ageless. Okay, well, that's just hearsay. When people say Asian, they're referring to the Chinese, Korean, the Japanese. Also, another fact, Asians don't like being lumped together because we are culturally diverse. Yes. Nosebleed can jokingly imply you're thinking perverse thoughts. In another Asian culture, it can mean you're having difficulty speaking English. Really? Which culture is that? That's interesting.
Such as the fat phobia, which I actually feel really bad about kind of defending.
Oh, here we go.
Because, yeah.
The fat phobia. As a slightly chubby person, what she's doing is disgusting. I don't care how much you 1 pound skinny girls want to defend Sashley on this. I don't care. Do we know what Sashley looks like? Is Sashley actually a skinny girl? I've seen tons and tons of actual fat people complain about this. You don't take your first ever fat character, which is coincidentally a cow, and skinnyfy it. But what if you decide you're not good at drawing... I mean... Okay, whatever. As a black person, that's basically like whitewashing, but it's her own character. It's her I'm sorry. Are you saying that if you design a character, your own character, to be fat, you are never allowed to change the design to make them less fat? What? Huh? What if you create a story where your character canonically loses weight? Is that fatphobic? Like, they're saying because you designed the character one way, you're not allowed to change the design or you're fatphobic. I already extremely disagree with this. What the actual fuck? Is this the same person who made the video you were critiquing your Sashley video? I just arrived. Yes, this is Goat Cato. For context, Goat Cato has, like, delved into more debunking stuff, but I guess some people managed to convince him that he was wrong. But, like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. This is stupid. And, like, as a slightly chubby person, now I want to know what Sashley looks like. Because, like, is Sashley a skinny girl? Or does she have some chub? If Sashley has a little chub, is she then justified? Do we know if Sashley, as far as I'm aware, is a white British kid. I don't know what they look like outside of that. I just know that they are supposedly white and from Britain. That's all I am potentially aware of. Yeah, so as a black person, making a slightly chubby character, not even a fat character, but a slightly chubby character, like skinny, is apparently akin to whitewashing, but less extreme in this person's eyes. As a fat person, doesn't matter that the cow is fat. The fact that they keep repeating themselves, she made her cow OC skinny, her first fat OC is a cow, on and on and on, girl. No, just redesigning your own characters, I guess. I guess that means I have to re-skinify Ponder Sprocket, because Ponder Sprocket was significantly skinnier when I originally designed her, and she got bigger and way more muscular as I sort of refined her design. Obesity is literally a disorder. Well, that depends on if... But the character wasn't obese. The character was slightly chubby. Oh, for fuck's sake. Obesity is literally a disorder. Sashley makes a joke about it isn't funny. Calling your friends fatty or fat isn't cute or quirky or funny. It's making fat people into a joke. And so many people love to defend this because it's so normalized to make Reddit mods fat and such. But you can't take a whole group of people and generalize them. You can't make them a whole ass joke. Goat Cato didn't even bring up the fact that Sashley made the cow OC skinny. Goat Cato made me look like I'm upset solely because... Oh, this is poopy butthole talking! Oh, fuck off. The word fat is not a bad word either. Well, some people seem to think it is. Some people get, like, there was that whole thing where Taylor Swift made that video that was supposed to be, like, partially addressing her issues with, like, her weight problems, and people called her fatphobic because she demonstrated, like, the fear that she had of being called fat, which led to her eating disorder, which, like, I'm sorry, are you saying that everyone with anorexia or bulimia is fatphobic? Like, I have actually seen that argument somewhere, but, like, that's the vibe I'm getting from this. Goat Cato made me look like I got upset solely because the OC was a fat cow OC. That's not it, of course. That was iffy in and of itself. That should be in and of itself, not in of itself. But not that bad. But the fact she skinified it literally the days after making it, and not to mention it was her first fat OC. Yeah, what if she didn't like the design she made because she didn't think she was good at drawing chubby people? And it wasn't fat. Like, you clarify I'm a slightly chubby person. You don't say I'm a fat person. Why are you not identifying as a fat person? Is it because you're not fat? So why is Sashley's chubby cow character fat? If two friends or lovers call themselves fatty as a nickname and both parties are totally okay with that, then fuck off, that's not your problem. They aren't calling you fatty, are they? Then why care? Exactly. Anyway, it's very suspicious that her first ever fat OC is a cow, something that fat people get called constantly. People get called cows even when they're not fat. Women get called cows. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are fat, it's just like a derogatory term that's used for them sometimes. Actual fat person here, I have no idea what this kid is saying. They seem to be making a molehill into a mountain. The friend stuff depends on the individual, and the OC thing is also completely moot. Yeah, exactly. Oh, she also gave them like a proper like cow nose, and it looks like she changed up the markings. It's hard to tell, because this one's wearing a shirt and this one's not. But, like, she gave it a cow nose. Oh, and the ears are farther down. So she did make other design changes to this character. Cow is an insult to women in England. Guess nobody can have female cow OCs, but cows are all females. Yeah, that's right! Shit, you fucking... Plus, I feel like the insult with regards to using cow for women is because of, like, the fact that cows are, you know, used for their milk, and people see women as, like, incubators and milk makers, despite the fact that they also get mad if you breastfeed in public. Like, it just seems like there's other reasons people get called cow that isn't just fatty fat, fatty fat. It looks like she's just more comfortable with drawing curvy/cutesy characters. Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with an artist wanting to stay in their comfort zone. Like, if the art is meant to make them happy and their comfort zone makes them happy, leave them the fuck alone!
Fatphobic jokes are actually very, very common and normalized. And calling your partner fat and stuff like that as a way of flirting is normalized, unfortunately, as well.
None of it is acceptable, though, as it contributes to the bad rep/image of plus-sized people.
And I didn't necessarily see anything wrong with it until I was educated more upon that.
It's interesting that Goat Kato is taking the perspective of Poopy Butthole when Poopy Butthole hasn't demonstrated that they are a trustworthy individual. Like, their whole thing is, like, as a slightly chubby person, as a black person. Okay, prove it. Like, you're using these to justify your accusations against Sashley, so now you have to prove it. Now you have to prove that you are a slightly chubby black person.
Fat people are valid, chubby people are valid, anorexic and overweight people. It's your body.
Yeah, but artists who decide they want to stay in their comfort zone and change one of their slightly chubby characters to be skinny are also valid. It's not like as soon as they make the character, it belongs to every, like, overweight person in the world. It doesn't belong to the fat community. Artists are allowed to change their characters if they want to. I have a character who's, like, canonically very fat, and over the course of his story, he is eventually supposed to lose some weight. He's still fat by the end, but he does lose some weight, but it's mostly because he's, like, fighting all the time, and when you're, like, exerting yourself to that degree, you do lose a bit of weight. It also kind of looks like their art style changed a little, so they updated the character's design to go with the change. Yeah, I did notice that. Like, it looked like a period of time had passed between the original character's creation and the updated design. So I'm curious as to how much time passed. Thin people are valid, but apparently not if you were originally designed to be slightly chubby.
So I do want to apologize for anyone I may have offended with that statement, and I will never make jokes or try to defend such statements or jokes again.
It's okay, other people who are larger than you can do that on their own.
I want to note that just because I apologized for this, that does not mean you have to forgive me. It is entirely in your right to not forgive me, and that's perfectly fine with me. I don't necessarily expect to be forgiven. Now that I've addressed that, let's talk about—
I don't really think there's anything you need to be forgiven for in that regard. I think Poopy Butthole is just being a bitch.
the things that Sashley has done. Also, forgive me if I ramble or go too long about my statements in this video. None of my videos have actually necessarily been scripted before, so I kind of just speak on improv and speak from my mind.
I wouldn't recommend that, but alright, you do you.
So I'm sorry if I stutter or I
like literally have anorexia and be overweight because it's not strictly a physically but a mental/emotional thing. I'm losing it. Yeah. Reanimated octopus. According to fat positive folks, that's exactly what losing weight means, even if it's for personal health concerns. Yeah, I have actually seen, I've seen videos where like people try to be like, if you lose weight, it's because you're fat phobic and it's because of your internalized fat phobia. Okay, honey. Well, I lost like 20 pounds through college and it was because of my fibromyalgia. So go fuck yourself.
Okay, so chapter 1, the racist remarks. I think these screenshots speak for themselves regardless of the dates. And like Poopy Butthole—
Also, wait, did Poopy Butthole like blur out the screenshot? Like, did they blur out the dates even more?
As said, racism doesn't expire, and
but you can— wait, what? Racism doesn't expire? But people who have racist ideologies can learn to overcome them. Isn't that like the same thing as the racism expiring? Because it's deteriorating, it's being overtaken by more progressive ideologies. I mean, it's not food, so in that regard, I guess it can't expire, but like, it's not like when you showcase racist ideologies, it's not like you're racist for the rest of your life, no matter what you do. You can be raised on racist ideologies and learn to overcome that in, like, as you grow up. I mentioned in the last stream that, like, people on the playground when I was a kid used to run around and basically dish out these jokes that were quite obviously just racist looking back on it now, but you didn't really notice that as a kid because you didn't understand it fully. You didn't understand the implications. But I know that now because I'm older and I have more life experience and I can look back on it with a more critical eye. In that regard, the racism of those old jokes did expire. Is Poopy Butthole trying to show how stupid the art community is and why all the commentators are leaving? They're just too easy to be manipulated? Maybe. That would be interesting. I hate the fact that they're falsely accusing a child of shit in order to do it, but that would be interesting if that were the case. I sincerely doubt that's the case, but it would be a thing. Oh, yeah, and there was, oh god, I wish I could remember his name, but there was a man who actually became friends with, like, a leader of the KKK and taught the guy to be less racist because now he was, like, friends with a black guy, and he's like, oh, yeah, like, this guy's cool. I like this guy. Other black people, I don't know. It's like at least there's progress there. I feel like it's probably a little more difficult as people get older because then they're like set in their ways. But like when people are young, it's really easy to change their mentality on things. So if somebody is spouting racist ideologies, it's far more effective to teach them rather than shame them. Just in general for children, that's usually how you should go.
If a person genuinely changed, they would not repeat their past behavior, which seems that...
mind you, I should clarify, it's better to teach them rather than shame them in instances where they are being ignorant. In instances where they are being malicious, they're probably not gonna fucking care.
Sashley kind of has been repeating her behavior regarding...
Really not entirely sure whether she is or isn't repeating this, but you just said she is. Honey, Goat Cato, please, this is why you script your videos, son. The behavior in the past was the repetition of the N-word. Unless they can show that she's doing that in the present, that wouldn't be repeating the behavior. Sashley criticizing Black Lives Matter is not repeating the liberal use of the N-word. Those are blatantly not the same things. I'm really not entirely sure whether she is or isn't repeating this behavior, despite the fact that you literally just said that she was. But given that she hasn't addressed it and has been seen kinda making fun of or mocking it, where? Show me the screenshots. It does seem somewhat strange. It's up to POC to determine whether she's changed or not, though. So I mean, I would say it's up to POCs whether or not they want to believe her and interact with her. I don't know if they get to say that she's changed. I don't know, it's a little hard because, like, people can be doing awful things behind the scenes and presenting a good front. Like, we brought up Creepshow Art earlier and she was doing that. She was, like, you know, being a bitch tit behind the scenes, but she was presenting herself as, like, a progressive supporter of, like, the LGBTQA+ community and POCs in general, and then she was being a cunt behind the scenes. So, like, in that regard, what if they were just being misinformed? Yeah, exactly. Actually, fuck you for that screenshot quality. Yeah, so I'm not sure, don't quote me on this. So, why did you say it? Like, you just said that she was repeating the behavior and then asked us not to quote you on the thing you literally just said. Do you understand how quotes work? Like, maybe if you're saying, don't quote me on this, but I heard through the grapevine, blah, 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 blah. But no, you outright said she's repeating the behavior and then put in a note saying, I'm not actually sure whether she's repeating the behavior. Daryl Davis. Daryl Davis is a black man. Oh, that is the guy I was thinking of. Okay, thank you. Is a black man who goes out of his way to befriend racist people to give them a perspective on black people they wouldn't have otherwise. That was actually the exact guy I was thinking of. Thank you for that. I didn't know his name, but I'm glad that that was the exact thing that you were talking about. I saw I think a TED Talk video that he did where he was talking about his past interactions with racists. It was really interesting. Oh, I think he also had like a wardrobe on stage, and at one point pulled out.
Respect is the key. Sitting down and talking, not necessarily agreeing, but respecting each other to air their points of view.
Yeah.
Because of that respect and my willingness to listen and his willingness to listen to me, he ended up leaving the Klan, and there's his robe right there. I am a musician, not a psychologist or sociologist. If I can do that, anybody in here can do that. Take the time to sit down and talk with your adversaries. You will learn something and they will learn something from you. When two enemies are talking, they're not fighting, they're talking. It's when the talking ceases that the ground becomes fertile for violence. So keep the conversation going. Thank you all very much.
Obviously, that conversation, keep the conversation going, doesn't really apply in instances where someone is trolling and they're literally just trying to get on your nerves. But that is a very, very good point. Once the talking ceases, the ground becomes fertile for violence. I love that. It's fucking great.
Stuff about racial issues that she has no place on speaking about. Speaking of that,
oh my god, anybody is allowed to talk on racial issues. You aren't excluded from the conversation because of your race. That is a racial issue in and of itself. They're actively saying that Sashley should not be allowed to talk about, like, her opinion or perspective on Black Lives Matter because she is not a POC. That is a racial issue. You are excluding white people from the conversation.
I don't have a place on speaking about Black Lives Matter.
Yes, you do.
Nor is it my place to talk about racial slurs in general, other than the fact that they are highly...
By this statement, I mean I have no right to say what slurs can or cannot be said, who can or cannot be offended by those slurs. I agree with that. Like, you can't really say who can not be offended by slurs. However, even though I'm white, I know for fucking sure a white person / non-black person shouldn't be fucking saying the N-word or mocking / using African-American vernacular English. It's literally common sense. Or using African-American vernacular English. Doesn't African-American vernacular English, like, get pushed into the... Like, didn't canceled as a term start out as an AAVE thing? Like, eyebrows on fleek, YOLO, that was a big thing that popped off. Do you guys know some AAVE terms that have become popular in recent media? Like, canceled I know is a big thing, eyebrows on fleek, and YOLO are the three that immediately come to mind. Woke. That's right. Woke started out as an African-American vernacular English word. Oh, period, dot, or I think the actual, it's period, like with a T at the end. Yeah, spill the tea, woke, bad bitch. Popped off was one? Fuck. We grew up with AAVE being like something everyone used when I was growing up. It's not common sense. It's something, yeah, you don't automatically know what AAVE is. You have to be told unless you understand where these words and terms and phrases originate, which obviously teenagers aren't gonna know unless they're like specifically interested in linguistics or like how language starts up, or AAVE. AAVE is a very debated topic even by black people if white people should use it, so it's a weird territory. Well, obviously Poopy Butthole is of the opinion that white people should not use it. But by that logic, white people have to already be aware of what things are AAVE, and you can't, I don't know if it was ever argued that Sashley was aware of that. Or even if she shared in that same perspective, because, again, not everybody shares in that perspective. And using AAVE doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is racist. I'm European, so I have no fucking clue what's AAVE and what's just slang. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Is like, it might be difficult to differentiate just regular media popular slang from AAVE slang, especially if that AAVE slang spreads into the regular media that you watch. Like, unless that media specifies where the slang comes from, how are you supposed to know? It's also important to note that it's also derived from the black queer community in many instances, which had to integrate into straight black lingo as well. That's a very good point, actually. Like, isn't that how things become more normalized, is like they creep themselves into the mainstream media so that it becomes more acceptable? And like, one of the ways in which people make things acceptable and normalized is by introducing it to the younger generation. Younger generations are instrumental in future change. So if you want something to become more normalized and accepted by the wider media, the wider community, the way to do it is to introduce it to younger upcoming generations. That's how that works. I've seen both black people arguing that white people should never use AAVE, and it's natural for two styles of language to mix, especially on the internet, so don't treat black people like a monolith, LMAO. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be torn on that. Well, maybe not a lot of people, but obviously there are some people who are torn on it. Really, it boils down to the preference of your peers. Respect boundaries. Some people are fine with it, some aren't. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're interacting with someone, they're like, hey, I'm not comfortable with you as a white person using AAVE. You can choose not to interact with that person anymore, or you can choose to reframe the way you speak in order to make them more comfortable. That is your choice. And like, they can be happy about your choice, or they can not like your choice, but it's your choice. I've seen the same argument with like cultural appropriation. Some people will be like, oh, like, I'm African, and like they're was this group of Asian girls who came over, and they wanted to get their hair braided, and they wanted to dress up in our traditional attire, and like we were so happy about that. Or like you see Asian communities being like, oh yeah, I love it when white people are introduced to I don't know, maybe like a Japanese person says like they like it when people try to wear kimonos correctly and like learn about the history and stuff. There's a difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation, and a lot of people I feel like don't. Whatever, I'm getting off topic. White person who grew up in the ghetto, try to deny them AAVE. Yeah, if they're constantly growing up surrounded by it, it's gonna be significantly more difficult for them to change the way that they talk. And with regards to like children using the N-word, even if they weren't necessarily brought up in a racist environment, what if they listen to songs that use the N-word? Like, you can't deny that there are songs that use the N-word, generally by black musicians. So, like, what if they grew up on songs like that? How are they supposed to inherently know that the word is bad if it's being used by all their favorite artists? Like, unless they're explicitly taught about it, they can't inherently just know that. As long as you don't start to believe you're from a specific culture, race, when you're not, that's a topic. Like, I agree that a white person shouldn't be saying the N-word. In general, non-black people should not be saying the N-word because it's not their right to claim it. But again, children, unless they are taught that specifically, aren't going to inherently know that. And if they're growing up in environments where the N-word is said quite liberally, they're going to take it on. It's like when you swear around a toddler, they pick that shit up.
Slurs are slurs, and I don't think they can necessarily be said unless they are reclaimable. But, as we all know, Sashley cannot reclaim the N-word or any other racial slur as she is white, not mixed, not anything else.
Yes, but has she been saying it since she was originally called out? Poopy Butthole brought up an old screenshot that, like, we already talked about and said, like, yes, Sashley has to learn to grow past this. So has she grown past it, or is she still using the N-word? Because you don't get to use something from 3 years ago to go after a child. Like, she was 12 when that shit happened. She's like 15 or 16 now. She may have grown past it, and using the old screenshots to go after her is not productive in the slightest. If she's still doing it, yes, that would be a problem. If she's not doing it, then it's stupid to bring up shit she did when she was 12.
And the same applies to white people in general, or people speaking on Black Lives Matter when they are not black. They simply have no place in doing that, nor do I. Now, to clear up something, at the end of my video, I was questioning whether or not Sashley was racist because I wasn't entirely sure, because I like to think that people can change. However, it is not up to me to decide whether she is racist or not because I am white.
Okay, well, if you're gonna specify that it's Poopy Butthole's role to determine if Sashley is racist, then Poopy Butthole has to prove that they are actually black. I'm sorry, we've seen people pretend to be other races, so that, like, oh fuck, I'm working on a zillion videos, but one of the videos I'm working on talks about people lying about their suicides online. And one of the situations that I brought up, Beth Ann McLaughlin, who claimed to be a bisexual Native American anthropology professor working at Arizona State University on Twitter, and falsified that death during the COVID pandemic, only to later be called out and discovered to be a white woman. We've seen people pretend to, like, in particular, we've seen white people purposely pretend to be POCs online in order to push a narrative, or in order to make themselves seem, I don't know, like less racist, more philanthropic. And this case in particular was funny because McLaughlin had been called out for, like, actively being racist to POCs in her workspace. So her going online, pretending to be an indigenous woman, and then killing off that indigenous woman so that she could then victimize herself and draw attention to herself, pretty fucking disgusting. It's not the first time we've seen people do that, though. I don't want to say it's a famous tweet, but there's, like, one of those tweets that kind of goes around in circles where it's like, haha, you're stupid, where someone was like, as a black person, I fucking like Trump, or blah, 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 blah. And, like, you could tell from the profile that the person wasn't black, but they obviously had an alt account where they were pretending to be black, and they were originally supposed to put this on their alt account, but they forgot to switch accounts. People lie in real life too. Don't worry, a-holes are everywhere. Yeah, it's just like when you have like immediate examples about that so available or like so readily obvious online, it sort of just demonstrates that people will lie about their race in order to push a particular narrative. Which is why when Poopy Butthole says, as a slightly skinny black person, this is why I'm going after Sashley. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm not entirely sure if I believe you. If you're gonna, like, actively say, I am this thing, therefore I get to speak on this, you have to show that you are that thing. I mean, I guess in some cases it's not that easy. If you're like, oh, I'm gay and therefore I'm allowed to speak on this. But, like, I don't know, who thinks someone is lying about their sexuality? We can see if someone's lying about their race. Why are people so oppressed with role-playing as oppressed people, LMAO? Probably victimhood. Like, we've seen people lie about shit to turn themselves into the victim. It would not at all surprise me if people lied about being POCs in order to claim victimhood. Reminds me of Martina Big, the chick who literally surgically turned herself into a really weird caricature of a black woman. What? Oh my... Oh... Like, she actually looks like a caricature. Like, she looks like those, like, racist Disney caricatures from, like, the 40s?
My next step is going to pump up my lips also. My eye color has changed. My eyebrow color has changed. And I can feel in myself that I'm changing to a black woman. I like the curves of black women, and I want to get them step by step.
I like the curves of black women? Oh, my God.
Well, Martina is here now alongside her new husband, Michael, and good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us here today. So, I mean, you look at the difference there. I mean, we have been following your story, and you were never comfortable with your natural appearance,
No,
the one you were born with.
I liked my natural blonde beauty, but also it's like tuning if boys get a new car, they start tuning, and then they say, oh, it's a nice result, let's find a matching piece, and then it's going to be more and more, and if you see the car they got and they have now.
So it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Did she just compare black women to a new car? Please don't want to be in this rabbit hole anymore. This is the first time I'm a beg to get back on topic. You know what? That's completely fucking fair. I'm just sitting here, my mouth fucking agape. Oh my God, yeah. Let's get back to Goat's video, because I'm like bleeding faith in humanity at this point. I'm all for body modification, but this is just no. Like, it really looks like body modification for the sake of being racist. She tried moving to Africa, by the way. Oh, we need to stop.
State my new opinion here. I think she most likely is, but that is up for y'all to decide, not me, because I can't really speak about that matter. However, her history of slur usage and speaking on things she shouldn't speak about kind of says enough, especially given the fact that it doesn't necessarily—
But she was 12. And again, she's allowed to talk about, like, white people aren't allowed to have an opinion. Like, they are actively saying, white people, if you are white, you're not allowed to have an opinion on Black Lives Matter.
clearly seem that she's changed a whole lot, but I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me for that.
Commentary channels bullying a 12-year-old. What a shocker. What a new concept. Right? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know what the cutoff point should be, but I feel like you can't drag a 12-year-old for being a dumbass 12-year-old. Like, maybe that's just me.
Like Poopy Butthole said, the issue is that history is repeating itself with Sashley. At least it was as—
Okay, but again, if history was repeating itself, we should have evidence of Sashley saying the N-word in present day, not 3 years ago when she was 12. Like, Sashley's opinion on Black Lives Matter is not repetition of the same behavior. Like, blatantly, these are not the same thing.
When I was doing research, I didn't find any super recent racial statements coming from her, but
So how the fuck can you say that Sashley is repeating the behavior in the modern day if you can't find evidence of her repeating the behavior in the modern day? What?
regardless of the dates, it's still fucked up morally, and she had—
She was 12! Oh my god! We're actively back on cancel the 12-year-old. Call the 12-year-old racist for maybe not understanding the implications of the N-word. Because at this point, we can't really ask Sashley because, of course, like, after all this time has passed, she's just gonna say, yeah, of course I didn't know. Like, At this point, too much time has passed. But it's fucking stupid to be all like, Sashley is racist because at 12 she said the N-word. Hey B, I can go and get the full screenshots from Sashley's Black Lives Matter message because it was out of context. Oh, I completely know that it was out of context. Goat actually mentioned in his last video that it was out of context and that Sashley was actually talking about something completely different. In particular, they were talking about like people who comment things on TikTok, and Poopy Butthole reframed that to be all like, see, Sashley thinks Black Lives Matter is bad. Don't worry, we know that it was out of context. Yes, she was criticizing the robberies. That's exactly what she said. She thought the riots were counterintuitive to the goal of the Black Lives Matter movement, or Black Lives Matter movement, which I agree with her on. Wait, then what is Goat arguing? I don't fucking know at this point. I want the context so I can be even more mad at a troll. I mean, you could just go to Poopy Butthole's channel and look at the full context. I warn you, though, the videos are obnoxious as shit. So, good luck with that.
I read over it. The things that she mentioned was the Gambino meme. She also mentioned her history of saying slurs. However, this was about 9 months ago when she made this document. And she also
No. You can't be sure about her stance on the matter because she made her apology document 9 months ago. So in the present day, you don't know if she's still saying slurs or being racist. Because 9 months ago is apparently too long. But you will actively still go after her for saying the N-word at 12? 3 years ago? Did you know that Goat got hate because of Poopy Butthole? I completely believe that because I believe that Poopy Butthole is a fucking troll. And they are literally just like trying to cause shit, and anybody who says that what they are trying to spread is wrong is gonna get hate from them. I completely fucking believe that. And I'm actually partially wondering if the reason Goat Cato made this second video was because of the hate that he received, and he felt pressured to make it because he was beaten down by that hate. In which case, Poopy Butthole's tactics are working, and it makes me worried.
mentions the Asian username. She said that she will not be using that alias anymore. However, it seems that her Twitter still is.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So I want to actually read Sashley's apology because Goat doesn't, and I want to know the full context of what Sashley said. I've gotten hate for defending Sashley. I would not be shocked if someone was bullied. Someone tried to dox me for doing the Sashley video. I didn't click on it because I mentioned this earlier. I didn't click on it because it was an IP grabber and I'm not 12. But yeah, like, people tried to dox me and accuse me of things after I did the Sashley video, but it didn't pick up any traction because I'd already sort of pointed out that the people who were trying to accuse Sashley of shit were resorting to ridiculously stupid fucking tactics. So I think at that point, everybody just sort of ignored them. Bro, every anime kid appropriates Japanese names at some point. It's way too normalized to hold it against what? Yeah, exactly. Like, everybody does this shit. I definitely had a Japanese... Oh, okay. It was one of those, like, Japanese name generators where, like, you put your real first and last name into a name generator and it coughs out, like, a Japanese name for you. A big old document of me addressing my wrongdoings. I'm tired of being a coward and making it seem like I depend on other people to defend me, so here we go. I apologize if this is very messy. English is not my strong suit. English is not your strong suit. Aren't you British? Do I need to start questioning our understanding of Sashley now? I'm just hoping you can make sense of what I'm trying to say and hopefully see this as coming from a genuine place. In that regard, I could also understand Sashley not speaking up in her defense before if she feels like she wouldn't be able to effectively communicate. Of course, you aren't obliged to accept my apology either. I have been a crappy person. I'm not looking for forgiveness either because, well, it's too late for certain things as the damage has spread really bad, and I feel it's better to just give closure than nothing. So, addressing the most recent stuff, first off, I want to say, if you are not black, you are not in a place to defend or accept this apology. Keep this in mind. In my Gambino meme, I had wrote down lyrics to go along with the animation. One of these lyrics included the N slur. So I was right, Sashley does listen to music that uses the N-word. She used one of these songs for an animation meme, and that meme contained the N slur. Sashley's Romanian? I thought she was British! Or is she just living in Britain? It wasn't even an original animation meme. I'm 90% sure she did not create... Oh, I know this song.
Gambino got the game locked. Half-tied picky, all she wanna do is Bangkok. Got her hair done, French braids, now she ASAP. Bino so insensitive, she asking why you say that. I'm chillin', real nigga feelin'. Rich kid asshole, paint me as a villain. Still spittin' that cash flow. DJ Khaled, got that house on both coasts. PH balance, real nigga I rap those. Why bitch? 'Cause I said so.
Okay.
Deep in that Pepto, I got 5 on it like.
Okay, so we know what the Gambino meme looks like.
Watch your haters wonder why Gambino got the game locked. Half-tied picky, all she wanna do is Bangkok. Got her hair done, French braids, now she ASAP. Bino so insensitive, she asking why you say that. I'm chillin', real nigga feelin'. Rich kid asshole, paint me as a villain. Still spittin' that cash flow. DJ Khaled, got that.
So Sashley used a song that had the N-word in it, and she wrote out the lyrics, which contained the N-word. Yeah, censored it with a star, which is usually how the N-word is censored. They usually censor out the I. Are they being attacked for lyrics from a song? I don't know. We're looking into context. That's sort of what it's looking like for me. Like, they didn't even write the song. They just used a Gambino, like a childish Gambino song, which I wrote down along with it, including a poor attempt at censoring the word. I mean, that's usually how other people censor it, but whatever. Thinking nothing about it at the time of making because it was lyrics sung by a POC, I did think this was fine. I thought it was okay to go through and finish it and later then publicize the video without thinking, hey, maybe I should just not write the word at all. There is absolutely no excuse to write this word down unless you were recording the lyrics. I've hurt a lot of people because of my thoughtless acts. I disabled comments on that video when this first boomed, but by the time this paste bin is up, the video would be unlisted. I just feel awful. The damage has been done already, and I've hurt people who thought better of me. I want to be better, I really do. Improving as a person is all I've strived to do recently, and that's included accepting that I am not innocent in everything. I have been a genuinely horrible person and have done horrible things. On this topic, I want to address my past usage of excessive slurs. When I was 12 to 13, I had went through one of those edgy phases, including throwing slurs left and right, thinking being edgy equals cool, and not you're being racist, shut the fuck up. If I could, I would go back and educate my past self so I could prevent inflicting damage onto people. I want to tell you I've improved and won't make the same mistake again, but like, that's not how it works. Time is required to build trust, especially after that trust has already been broken, and I understand a lot of people are not willing to accept this, and that's fine. They aren't forced to. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to prove myself to you. I can be a better person by doing so. I apologized for this in the past on my alt account, but looking back at it, I just cringe. I wish I had sat down and wrote more from the heart. I didn't realize the impact and impressions. Apologies.
The things that she mentioned was slurs.
Here we go. Oh, of course, this isn't the full fucking thing. God damn it. Yeah, kids really should not be allowed on the internet unsupervised. They hear these, like, not well thought out arguments from other kids, and then they sort of just run with it and try to cancel each other over it. And it's fucking stupid. Looks like a bunch of bitter, envious kids trying to knock down someone because they don't think they deserve the attention they get. Oh, that's what I assumed the original Sashley drama was about. If you don't have critical thinking, you really shouldn't be on the internet, because this is just a case of a poor kid making mistakes and being publicly lambasted by people who I promise you have done exactly what— oh yeah, guaranteed they're doing the exact same shit that Sashley's doing behind the scenes. Guaranteed. I've seen this so many times, it's stupid. Like, as soon as some child comes out and starts publicly accusing someone of, like, blah, 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 and they try to go after them for kind of mundane things, it immediately puts in my head that the kid making the accusations is doing the same shit behind the scenes. People be out here bullying kids because that way they can avoid the ultimate question: do I need to see change in myself? Shit, you fucking right. Okay, so we don't have the full paste bin for Sashley, unfortunately, but we can go over the stuff that Goat provided to us. The next section says, same goes to this situation, because please don't try to forgive me if you are not Asian, onto regarding the username Atsuko. I was going by Atsuko, one meaning being a child of profound emotions is what I called my OC, that eventually became Asona due to how much I connected with them. I eventually started to go by the name Atsuko myself. For so long, I really saw nothing wrong with it as it's just a name, but hearing of other people's experiences on how people treat Asian culture as an aesthetic, like I thought I was fine using this name because my intentions were not to use it as an aesthetic and was simply because I really related to the meaning behind the name, but man, I hate knowing I fed into this. I'm even more upset I was so ignorant and didn't listen to anyone, and I can't even imagine how it must have made them feel. To the Asian community, well, weird to say the Asian community. There's a lot of different types of Asians. Like, Indians are Asian. To the Asian community and any of my Asian fans, previous fans, I'm sorry, I will not be using this alias anymore. Ending this off on a different note, I want to say, no, I am not going to be talking about relationship drama as that's not any of the public's business. Good on you, Sashley. Things have been solved privately, and bringing personal life into the open causes nothing but stress and is just really unnecessary. What I will say, though, is please stop believing things without seeing concrete evidence. It's been happening to so many people recently. I am very, very tired, and I'm sure you are too. I'm sorry this dragged on so much and didn't better myself sooner. I sincerely hope that what I said at least lets you know I want to be better myself, or I want to better myself. I've been taking constant hiatuses for the past year and will continue to do so until further notice. Please have a good day or night. Stay safe. Ignorance isn't malice. Yeah, exactly. I will actively be lighter on people who are doing things out of ignorance rather than people who are doing things maliciously. Because when you're malicious, it means that you're actively trying to hurt another person. If you're doing something because you're just ignorant on a matter, your opinion can be changed. Oh, I think she's saying the Asian community because that's what everyone who's been coming at her have been calling it.
However, this was about 9 months ago when she made this document, and she also mentions the Asian username. She said that she will not be using that alias anymore. However, it seems that her Twitter still is called AtsukiX or some weird shit like that.
Correction, name Atsuko, not the username. However, she is currently being called out for the Twitter/private Twitter username Atsukix. But Atsukix isn't a word. Like, if it's supposed to be read as AtsukiX, is Atsuki even a name? Okay, is a masculine Japanese given name. I've never heard of that name. So, you can read it as AtsukiX, but it could also be read as Atsukix, which isn't a name. But either way, I think we know this complaint is fucking stupid.
Which, I'm not exactly sure how hard it is to change a Twitter username, but it can't be that hard. She needs to change it. I'm now going to post Poopy Butthole's statement as to why they were upset about the things that Sashley has done, and how they elaborate more into their points against her, which I think it's very important for you to read, as it's actually quite educational.
Well, why the fuck didn't you provide it then? I don't want to go through Poopy Butthole's stupid troll content.
And it also helped educate even me about some of the topics that I actually wasn't well informed about.
Poopy Butthole harassing you into believing them is not educating you on the topic, Goat. I'm sorry. We've been going over this whole thing and it's all wrong. Poopy Butthole has blatantly misinformed you. And it really does seem like they have done it through the process of harassing you into coming to their side. Like, maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's what I'm reading from it.
So, thank you, Poopy.
Oh, here we go. So, he did provide it. Thank you. What I didn't get wrong. The Gambino situation, you cannot be serious. Sweeping the shit under the rug ain't passing by me. I love it when white people try to defend this. Oh, but it was like in early 2022. Okay, that's quite literally this year? What? Yeah, guys, let's swipe this under the rug because it happened earlier this year, not this exact nanosecond. I mean, we're sweeping it under the rug because it's fucking stupid? She wrote out the lyrics of a song that she was using, and she censored the slur one. She apologized. Yeah, as damage control? As damage control? What if she... how do you know it was damage control? How do you know she wasn't actively, like, sorry? What proof do you have that it was damage control and that she wasn't actually sorry for what she did? You don't just get to say, I don't believe your apology, therefore it wasn't true. That's your personal opinion. You don't get to pass it off as a fucking fact. I showed the screenshots literally showing that she did not care one bit that she said the N-word. In fact, she was upset and claimed all of the black people calling her out for it were making white racism more apparent. I want to see those screenshots. Why didn't go over that? In fact, she was upset and claimed blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm not even going to argue with you crackers crying over this and saying, well, it's true, white racism is real. It isn't. Well, that's true. Where are the screenshots talking about Sashley being all like white racism? And even if it was, that isn't an example of white racism. It's an example of black people being upset that a white person said the N-word. The Black Lives Matter statement, she had no right to speak on for fuck's sake. On black topics like that, and if you're white, you're literally not affected. Don't talk about it. Okay, so if a white person was a victim of the riots that Sashley was talking about, then they get to talk about it? Or does that still not count because white? Sure, I'm gonna call them shit stain. That's a much better name. Yeah, shit stain is a much better name for poopy butthole. Let's rename them shit stain. And I personally believe she wasn't speaking about the people using Black Lives Matter as a way to buy mansions. I personally believe, so you admit that you are passing off your personal opinions of Sashley as fact as a way to vilify her to her audience. You admit that that is exactly what you're fucking doing. I believe she was talking about the movement in general, which wouldn't be a reach. As we know, she's quite literally racist. Nice excuse, Sashley. Good fucking job. The DDLG... Oh, for fuck's sake. The DDLG stuff, I still believe I'm right about this. She's been into DDLG before Noodles coerced her into it. Since from what I know, she wrote the DDLG fanfic in the first few days she met him. How does that prove that she was into it before? You just admitted that she wrote it after she met him, since she was asking what name he'd like to be called in the fanfic. Plus, she still draws her OC Sonus very child-coded, around plushies, and generally making the character look like a child. Who cares about her kinks? She's a minor. Yeah, well, they're obsessed with her kinks because they're trying to use them specifically to turn her into a bad guy. That's why they're obsessed with the kinks of a child. A lot of people have been commenting that Sashley allegedly said that Ash is 10 years old. Now, I don't know if I should believe this because but we're supposed to believe the whole, like, she can't speak on Black Lives Matter and she actually meant this because your personal opinion, huh? But now you're saying that you're not gonna believe the things that other people who you can't trust say? Why the fuck should we trust you? Sashley allegedly said Ash is 10 years old. I don't know if I should believe this because there's absolutely no proof for this, but a ton of random people have been commenting that they saw Sashley say that. Yeah, it's not like people can get together into a group and collectively try to ruin someone. We've never seen that happen before, right? I say, working on a 6-part video series with that exact thing fucking happened. I made a video saying why you should not expose children's private sexual DMs, and someone tried to say that Sashley deserved it? Guaranteed that was another fucking child. And these kids would also be behind the scenes being sexual, like in their main accounts, and they'll get mad if you expose their sexual shit. But Sashley deserved it, I guess. Okay. It's not even a kink for Sashley. It's more therapeutic for them. The way I've heard it described, it does seem like Sashley uses it as a therapy tool, which just makes it worse that people are potentially forcing her to stop doing it because, you know, kinks are bad. If she is using it as a therapy tool, that makes it so much worse. Like what they're doing to Sashley, it makes it like 100 times worse. Sex is bad, but only for people I don't like. Basically, kind of slut-shamey when you look at it that way. And what I'd love to mention is the doodle she made of her character looking like a whole-ass child. Even people attempting to defend Sashley in the comments about that doodle assumed that her boyfriend in the drawing was her caretaker/parent, and once they found out it was actually supposed to be Sashley's boyfriend, they were rightfully disgusted. Oh, for fuck's sake. I know people love to whine and say, but my friend is 3 feet tall and her boyfriend is like 7 feet tall, ooh woo, but given Sashley's track record with DDLG, the track record that wasn't a fucking issue, and people just turned it into an issue because they're stupid children, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I wouldn't say it's a coincidence, no reason to make your OC appear like a child next to your boyfriend, weird behavior. I don't understand why making your OC look like a child in front of someone you're dating is wrong. I could understand the perspective of deliberately making your OC look like a child and then drawing that child fucking your adult age boyfriend would be an issue. But why is just drawing your character like a child while also next to someone you're dating a problem? I love how we're in this situation, the smartest take, which ain't saying much, is that the shit Sane can make is literally just developing child bad. Yeah? Oh no, the child's OC is a child, right? Like, what the fuck? I wish the sharks would keep chewing on the Ethernet cables. I don't need to see this shit. Whoever manipulates better will win. Moab, you got it. Whoever can more effectively manipulate the narrative will win. That's not even just an art community thing. That's just life. And again, I want to make it clear, it's not just the childish clothes that make her character child-coded. It's the eyes, face, head to body proportions, etc. Oh, and when people defend Sashley's OC being an adult because of the huge boobies, static TV tropes. This character is 16, though. Like, there's a difference between a 10-year-old having D-cup titties and a 16-year-old having giant fucking titties. Fucking what? It makes her look even worse. What do you... Oh, my God. Sexualizing a child-coded character by giving them big badonkers is weird, babes. If her drawing a younger Sona in fishnets and thigh-highs is porn to these people, it says a lot more about them than the child. The F-slur. Many people... Even people defending Sashley have been saying that what she's done was bad, even if she's non-binary and pansexual or whatever. Only men can reclaim the slur. Who says that only men can reclaim the F-slur? Like, who fucking decided that? Okay, it is at least specified as a male homosexual. I always understood it as, like, just a general gay term. Like, oh, you're gay, you're the F-slur, or whatever. I'm sorry, I was called the F-slur as a woman. Like, what? Yeah, like... I've definitely been called the F-slur before. I understand that it's supposed to be a reference to gay men, but, like, it doesn't mean that gay women don't get called the F-slur. The R-slur. She has autism, I believe. Some autistic people have commented claiming she still couldn't reclaim the R-slur. What? Why? Oh my God. So your whole implication is, oh, if you're not a part of the group that the slur was used against, you're not allowed to reclaim it. But now you are acknowledging that you believe that Sashley is a part of the group that the slur she used was generally used against, and she's still not allowed to reclaim it? What the fuck is this nonsense? You're like, oh, some autistic people have commented saying she still can't reclaim the slur. And it's like, but why? Literally, why? You just stated that she is a part of the group that should allow her to reclaim it, and you're still saying she's not allowed to use it. People within the community can do this, but you can't because I said so. Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Everything else beyond here has been, Sashley can't use this word because she is not a part of the community. Sashley can't use this word because she's not a part of the community. And then when Sashley is apparently a part of the community of a slur that she's been using, she's still not allowed to use it. So this is like the same as my original Goat Cato video. Everyone else is allowed to use it, but not Sashley because she's fucking evil. As the autistic kid, the stigmatization regarding that word is still there, but I don't need you fuckers canceling a child so you can act like you were fighting for me. Yeah. Go. Get him, Linlins. Get him. Get the shit stain. The racism. Let's see now. What has Sashley done racist? Complained about people gatekeeping words. Complained that only black people could use AAVE. Did she? Complained about Black Lives Matter. Drew a Genshin character saying racial slurs. I didn't see that. Ugh, fuck, do we actually have to go through Shitstain's stupid videos? Depending on how she did that, she may have been making a... Genshin Impact is generally criticized for not having inclusivity, and when they do have inclusivity, it's only in the roles of the villains. So I'm curious to see what exactly Sashley drew and what racial slur the character was saying, because depending on how that was done, she may have actually been making a commentary on that. Now, I can't say that specifically, but that is one of the things that pops into my head as a possibility. She made an emoji in her server called racial slurs, typed out blackface in her... You mean like she wrote the word blackface? And then said something along the lines of using Nutella because it was thicker. You said something along the lines... Did you not have screenshots to prove this, or are you just pulling this out of your ass? I am assuming she said this making a joke out of blackface due to... Oh, for fuck's sake. Wait, Sashley literally drew a Genshin character with a text bubble that said racial slur? So, didn't even say or write down a racial slur. So, it was probably a commentary on how racist Genshin Impact is. They're flat out telling us here, I'm assuming the worst possible interpretation of this thing that I do not have full fucking context for. So you are actively assuming the worst of Sashley, even when you don't have anything to prove your assumptions. Is that what I'm supposed to get from this? Okay, cool, love it. Out of blackface due to, well, the context, and for context, she was in a voice call, not speaking. She typed this out while the other person spoke, which makes it hard to understand what she was talking about. But as a black person who has experienced racism, I just know she was joking about blackface. Okay, yeah, so Shitstain needs to prove that they're fucking black at this point. They're using their alleged status as a POC to say, this is my opinion on a thing that I have fuck all knowledge of. That's why you should believe me. And even then, no, you just told us that you're effectively assuming the worst out of Sashley even when you don't know what the fuck was going on. So joking about something bad is bad. Yeah. Apparently Sashley allegedly, potentially trying to make a commentary on a game being racist means that she is racist. Yeah, of course it's not in good faith. This person is a fucking troll. Like, my opinion on that has not changed. And the recent end slur, now everyone's been debunking her recent use of the end slur, I believe, but I personally still believe that she said the end slur in the private admin chat, then wiped the entire chat with the bot that, like, prunes messages, I think, deleted all the evidence, and got away with it. So you're just pulling this out of your ass, huh? Now, that's just speculation, but knowing how racist she is, yeah, I believe it 100%. Oh, we know you do, dumbass. But I digress. It could have been edited for all we know, I guess. But even if she didn't use the N-word recently, guess what? Read everything I've said before that. She's still racist. White people better not be speaking on this defending Sashley. I swear. Hi. Someone, like, wanna go talk to a black creator and ask their perspective on it? That'd be nice. And finally, I'm gonna end off in this chapter by talking about one part of her statement. She, quote, only regrets the stuff she said about Dream. No, not her being upset about only black people being able to use AAVE. No, not her speaking on Black Lives Matter when it wasn't her place. Not the fat phobia, or the F slur, or the R slur, or the Gambino situation, or literally anything else she's done. Just that she said Dream wasn't a groomer. Says a lot about her. I mean, it says a lot about you that you think any of this stuff is, like, remotely okay. Oh my god, there's more. Pinned by poopy butthole. Fuck me. Sorry, shit stain. Things people want to whine about. The uncategorized part, I guess. Neutral, maybe. Things I possibly got wrong. Oh my god, are you gonna actually admit to being wrong on something? She said the N-word years ago when she was 13. 12. Although, I think she did say 12 to 13. Why are you bringing this up? Because she said the N-word and continues to do so to this day. Okay, but then why is the screenshots being brought up only of the instance from when she was 12? If she's still doing it to this day, why are there not screenshots showing her doing it to this day, or like recordings of her doing it? She's racist. Why wouldn't I bring up her past of racism? Because she was 12, you fucking moron. Are you 12? TIFF drama. Oh, what the fuck is this? Here we go. The only reason I was upset over this is because Sashley gets super pissed whenever someone draws anything or animates similar to her events, but when Sashley gets inspired by TIFF, doesn't even include TIFF in the description. I know people like to say, oh, but inspiration is fine, and it didn't even look like she was inspired. Yeah, okay. But it'd be nice for Sashley to not be a hypocrite, maybe. Credit her inspiration, like the pose theft wasn't... Oh. I'm sorry, are we actually talking about pose theft? We're actually doing pose theft! Like, you admit pose theft wasn't even a big of a deal, so why the fuck did you put it in one of your stupid callouts if it's not a big deal? So you're actively just grasping at straws, trying to find as much shit that you can throw at Sashley, huh? To such an extent that you admit some of your crap isn't a big deal, but you still put it in there. So we might have to go listen to Shitstain's videos at this point, because, like, clearly not everything was brought up by Goat Cato, and they're clearly mentioning shit we haven't seen yet. The post theft wasn't even that big of a deal, but Sashley getting inspired by Tiff's vent when Tiff specifically said not to get inspired by. Come on now. Okay, well, I would have to actually see that. When someone does that to Sashley, she gets upset. Okay, I'm repeating myself here, but Tiff is a smaller channel than Sashley, and it would be nice if Sashley would at least credit for Tiff for inspiration, because I mean, as much as we want to say Tiff didn't invent black sludge falling onto characters' heads, black sludge falling onto a character's head is apparently something that Sashley needs to credit a specific creator for. Like, I understood in the potential context where, like, maybe Sashley was doing an animation meme that Tiff did, but is it serious? I guess we'll have to see. The Asian stuff, again, I want to clarify, I wasn't making the claims. Asian people on TikTok were TikTok's toxic as fuck, though. Oh my god. We're complaining about Sashley's fetishization of Asians, and not to mention on Twitter, Discord, YouTube even. Even my Asian friends were bothered. Trust me, I'm so trustworthy. It's disgusting, and I was just relaying what Asian people were saying to spread the word. Also, watch this video maybe. Oh, okay.
Ever since YouTube became a well-known social, people started making small looped animations onto the platform for everyone to see. Soon it built a big community of people who have an interest in animation to join in and just have fun animating and make some good friends along the way. However, just like any community, we have our own niche. I felt the need to talk about the obvious flaws that needs to be discussed. And that's what I'm here to talk about in this specific video.
The event is called 1:45 a.m. on Tiff's channel. In the animation, they are talking about Sashley getting inspired by Tiff is called Affection. Thank you. Let's go check those out before we look into this. This is the only section that Sashley is getting dinged for. This. Black tar dripping onto a character's head. Nothing about the rest of the video is the same. Now, Sashley also has a video where black tar drips onto a character's head. That's it. And now they're saying Sashley has to credit Tiff for inspiration because Sashley also put black tar in their character's head. If you have just one or two inspirations for one piece, sure, credit them. But if you have many, many inspirations for basically all of the things that you do, I'd say you don't have to. But if someone asks you what was your inspiration, just answer. That's all. I want to tack onto that. It depends like how much the inspiration encompasses your piece. I think I brought this up in the original Sashley video. One of the pieces that I was drawing at the time was inspired by Monica from Doki Doki Literature Club, Sailor Moon's bridal gown, general gothic bridal attire, and a little bit of the silence. But the aspects that I borrowed from each character were so few and far between that credit for each of them individually wasn't really necessary. Like, unless I told you that I got the what do you call it, the ponytail design from Monica from Doki Doki Literature Club specifically, you wouldn't have fucking known. You would have just assumed it was a ponytail. Unless I said that I was specifically designed to design this character as a bride because I saw a picture of Sailor Moon dressed as a bride, you could have just inferred that it was any fucking bride. So with regards to inspiration, I think it definitely depends on how much inspiration you take. And if all Sashley is getting dinged for is the fact that she used black tar on her character dripping down onto her head, I don't think credit's necessary, even if that did come from Tiff. Okay, yes, back to the video.
Things that needs to be fixed within the animation meme community.
Like, I assume this video is getting brought up because it supports Shitstain's stance.
So I'm going to say this before anything. It's okay to be inspired by other artists' work.
Hey!
Okay, hear me out.
Wait! I thought this was supposed to support Shitstain!
I'm not saying rip-offs are okay. These are never the answer. Rip-offs are bad because if your art style becomes identical to another artist to the point it will affect the artist's monetary gains, that's where I would have to draw the line for you. What I'm saying is, as long as you're getting inspired by artists and taking their unique aspects of their style into your own, nobody is stopping you. Go ahead. The reason why this section of the video is necessary is that I have seen people comparing art styles from one animator to another, leading both to accuse animators.
I'm glad I didn't grow up as an artist in this day and age because this is disgusting.
Of tracing one another. Now, this brings us back to a little while back where Sashley allegedly copied Type's art style and causing drama within the community.
Yeah, wow, I love Bendy and the Ink Machine. Fuck, you're right! What if Sashley had been like, actually, I wasn't inspired by Tiff, I was inspired by Bendy and the Ink Machine? What the fuck are you gonna say? You gonna say she's lying?
People kept bashing on Sashley because of her inconsistent art style was starting to lean on Type's art style's aspects. You heard me. Aspects. Not an entire art style. Yes, the dot eyebrows are there, cheek fluffs and thicker eyelashes are part of Type's art style that does line up with Sashley's at the time art style. But
lots of people draw cheek fluff on furries. Also, the image provided didn't have the dot eyebrows, so now I'm just confused.
There are more aspects that doesn't match up. For example, how Sashley draws her clothes are nothing alike. Sashley used to have more messy line art and shading, while Type drew them more clean and smooth compared to Sashley's.
That's supposed to be clean line art? Really? I mean, the shading, sure, but clean line art? Okay.
Do these look identical to you? Bet not. As it's not only these art style aspects where people are bashing on, but it's also the background animation Sashley also chose to put on the videos that has used Type's video background elements where, first off, Type doesn't own them, and second, everyone and their mother within the community has used sliding.
Yeah, people get mad at Sashley for being inspired, but nobody talks how a lot of people have actually been copying Sashley to a T, even completely copying Sashley's art style. Yep.
checkers and stripes.
At this point, they're probably like, oh, well, she deserves it.
Grey pastel tones and sliding text
Or they deserve it.
because Ty's videos were popping off and becoming YouTube's algorithm's favorite video to shove into community's recommendation page. Sashley just happens to be one of them, and since Sashley has a big ass channel with a big following, it's easily noticed by the public. There isn't anything wrong with taking inspiration and putting it to your own work, guys. Nobody's stealing anything here. Oh, and by the way, don't trace others' work and say that it's yours. It's a very inappropriate thing to do. And please don't post that anywhere, even if you give credit. If you want to practice art by tracing, you can. Just don't show it to the public. It's not a very good thing to do. And I'm not talking about bases that you were allowed or were free to use. Oh, and speaking of crediting, let's move on to the next section. So this section of the video is more serious issue. When someone makes an original animation meme, others would credit the original when they make their own version of the said animation meme. But what happens when there are 2 or more original animation memes that have been made with the same song and the same title? Well, the answer's simple. There can be more than one original animation meme that has been made with the same song. And who you want to credit depends on you. Either you credit whoever video you were inspired by has credited, or who you were more inspired.
Okay, I thought this was supposed to be... This was stated when Poopy Butthole was talking about Asian fetishization. Why is this video, which is more focused on this section, down here? Like, do they talk about Asian Oh, I hate that fucking word. Fetishization a little further in? Yeah, exactly. Like, it's completely antithetical to their whole fucking... They're actively posting shit that goes against their narrative at this point.
Well, if kids don't throw any death threats to the quote-unquote copied video's comment section. Yes, you guys did hear me right. People send death threats to animators who have made an original animation meme that has the same song used in another animation meme.
I have heard about this, which is terrifying because I want to move more into like art stuff on my channel, and in particular I want to do some animation memes, and some of the memes that I want to do are with songs that have already been used in prior animation memes, but the memes that I want to do are vastly different, so now I'm like, Now I'm curious. Sashley apologized for many things she was accused of, so I need to ask her accusers one thing. What do you guys want from her exactly? What are you looking for? Well, they want her gone. That's their goal. They want Sashley to not be popular anymore, and they want people to hate them.
For example, the Rhinestone's Eyes animation meme. There are multiple original creators of the said meme, but Sleep She has overall the most views despite having the video posted onto YouTube a month later than the other ones that have been shown here. But if you watch them side by side, none of them are alike. Therefore, none of the original creators of the Rhinestone Eyes memes are copied, but just simply listened to this song, liked it, and decided to animate a little lyric to the song. But stupid little kids just decide it's something that outweighs any form of crime and sends death threats to the comment section, leading Sleep She having to disable the entire comment section. This is absolutely unacceptable, and no one should ever do this. Even if you may be a young child, take this opportunity to learn from and never do this again. It damages the animator greatly. And this is not even a one-time occurrence. There are plenty of videos that have gotten this death threat. Now that I think I got my points across on this, let's get to the last section of this video.
Personal drama.
As I said before, this community is filled with children, and as you all know, people's personalities and behavior are built around what they saw others doing, leading them to do the same.
Child see, child do.
These are usually developed during people's early childhood, usually from the age of 5 to the age of 13, if early.
Oh, no, sorry. I wasn't typing anything bad. I was just responding to a comment that I got, because you can see I have a little notification up here, and I was curious what it said. Incidentally, it was a comment responding to a comment that I made indicating that I was probably going to talk about the quote-unquote new Sashley drama, so I was just informing them that I'm actually currently in the middle of the stream where I'm going over it.
and it may also go to the age of 17 to 18 as its latest. Why am I mentioning this? Well, it's because within the 4 years of my life being part of the community made me having to see a lot of personal drama. And to be honest, a lot of them should have stayed private. Do not leak private DMs without permission. Do not send private DMs and screenshots to the public. This causes the environment that is supposed to be private so toxic to the point you just can't say anything that you want privately, because you would be afraid the other party would take a screenshot off of it, expose it to the public for everyone to see your private conversation that you probably don't want anyone else but the other person in that DM conversation to see.
That's actually a really good thing to bring up. The environment that Sashley is currently in, and unfortunately a lot of the animation meme community and art community, is they might be developing an idea that they can't even trust their friends or what are supposed to be their safe spaces, which is definitely a problem given that a lot of artists usually find solace in their artwork and their online communities because they can't do so in their daily lives. I really don't like the implication that these younger artists are being forced to keep everything quiet and like bottle up their feelings for essentially the fear that they will be exposed by people that they thought were their friends. I really don't like where that is going.
For example, there were private DMs of Cinebeer03 shown to the public for everyone to see. That is not something you can just do. If you want to show DMs you had with other parties, you should have asked for Cindy's permission firsthand. I do not understand why no one has pointed out this specific part. Even Cindy had to address it in her latest video. Now, just to clarify, I do not justify or agree with what Cindy has done. I just think this should have not been public. It should have been private. Having private conversation just shown to the public like that is a very toxic environment for anyone,
Yes.
even for someone who has made mistakes.
Yes.
Cindy is a minor. Just remember that. So yeah,
God, was shit leaked about Cindy too?
don't be a scumbag and show private convos to the public.
So there was nothing about Asian fetishization. So this link should have been in this paragraph, and I don't even know why it was included because it's completely antithetical to Shitstain's arguments. Cool, love it. If you're not Asian, please shut up and don't speak on this topic. I've watched about half of this video and it's really solid and explains a lot. The main thing I want to say though is that Sashley keeps using the name Atsuko, the Asian name, using an Asian name as a British white chick, Romanian white chick apparently, is, spoiler alert, cultural appropriation. No, it's not. She's still using it. As you may know, her private Twitter handle is @Atsukix, which is Atsuko with the O replaced with Ix. Her alt account on YouTube is also called Atsukix. The pro ship account, sorry, but I think I'm right on this one. No one looks through an account filled with hentai of two brothers and not safe for work of a 15-year-old anime boy and decides this art is really nice. I'll ignore the problematic in bold with large warning sign emojis next to it and follow the account. Yeah, really nice excuse, Sashley. You managed to manipulate almost everyone into believing you, but the only things that account ever posted was problematic stuff. So even if you didn't read the bio, which is highly unlikely, guess what? Still bad. You said you followed for the art, which is, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Are you saying that it's unrealistic that Sashley followed a blog that she liked, said they liked the art of without looking at the blog's, bio? They're saying even if you didn't read the bio, which is highly unlikely. Do you read the bio of every fucking Twitter that you follow? Because I certainly don't. Sometimes I just see artwork and I'm like, oh, let me scroll through for a sec. Scroll. I like what I'm seeing. Follow. Done. That's it. I don't read the fucking bio. The only time I read the bio is like when I need to refer to the person and I'm like, oh shit, do I know what their pronouns are? Let me go check. So they're saying that Sashley is pro-ship because Sashley followed allegedly a pro-ship account. And Sashley was like, I didn't read the bio. And they were like, a likely story. The 18 plus accounts. Lol, okay, this is funny. People didn't even try to defend this, but you know, minors following 18 plus accounts on Twitter is very disturbing for adults. They put 18 plus in the bio and the username since they really don't want minors following their accounts, which is understandable. Who wants minors to see their porn? No one. This part, we all know she knew what she was doing. So they're getting mad at Sashley for actively, of her own volition, following an 18 plus blog. You know that Sashley probably looks at porn in their free time, right? Oh, but that's not public, which means you can't lambaste her for it. Oops. One thing I do want to talk about is that while defending the following of the ProShip account, Goat Cato stated that not once had Sashley tried to defend pedophilic behaviors, which is weird since Sashley had an entire session with Anon where they went back and forth arguing who was right. Was DDLG right or wrong? Obviously, Sashley was defending. Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know why the hell Goat Cato is even... Why is he even putting this in here? It's so fucking stupid. The sexualizing of her OCs, Sashley told Goat Cato that she wears panties and thongs and skirts were stuff she wears IRL. I can understand panties. In fact, I used to wear those around the house in the past. Before her to be saying she wore the stuff she drew, that's scary. You're telling me she wore a mini skirt with a thong sticking out. You're telling me she wore a transparent skirt showing off her ass. Fucking, they're literally just getting mad at a child for drawing sexual shit. Her fans are fucking children, literal 8-year-olds. Of course they would say it's okay. It's their... I thought it was bad when Sashley referred to her child audience as the 8-year-old army, but now they're saying that they literally are 8-year-olds. And the people who aren't children that encourage her, yeah, full-grown, creepy adults thirsting over the art due to how sexualized she is. And apparently that's also Sashley's fault. The grooming. I never victim blamed her. Hello? Please know that I don't think I have ever victim blamed her. If I did, shame on me. But it's 100% his fault for grooming her. She shouldn't, however, be normalizing the relationship in front of her child audience. Hey, shit stain. Do you want to know what the result of grooming is? The result is that the child thinks that grooming is normal. So obviously they're going to promote it as normal because that's what they think. Because they have been conditioned to believe that. So guess what you are doing by doing this? If you guessed victim blaming, ding ding ding, you're correct. Fucking end me. Oh, and then of course they'd be like, hey, again, it isn't her fault since he's groomed her into thinking their relationship is perfectly normal, despite the fact that she's 16 and he's 20. So immediately after saying it is her fault for normalizing this to her child audience, you then say it's not her fault because she was groomed. It's not her fault, but it is her fault, but it's not her fault, but it is her fault, but it's not her fault. Also, I'm not victim blaming. The teen wants to dress up as the character in the artwork even though they wear kind of sexual clothes. Have you fucking been to any middle/high school? I've had teens at the age of 14 dress up with their boobs out and generally in outfits that shouldn't be worn to such an... Yeah, like they want to be adults. They want to be sexual. They want to be... No, they want to be sexualized. It's bad, but some kids just fucking... Puberty's a hell of a drug, man. I didn't blame her for being groomed. I just blamed her for experiencing the effects of grooming. Oh, wait. Fuck, right? Pick a lane. The thing I blamed her for, due to their relationship, it was the fact that Sashley comforted her friend since her boyfriend, not at the time boyfriend, used her sexually, then went behind her back and dated him? What the fuck? Again, it could be his grooming, but that wasn't morally right on Sashley's part, and I find it odd. And if, oh, for fuck's sake. So this is relationship drama again. If I were Sashley's friend, I would be rightfully pissed. I've went through something similar, and I know I almost broke a friendship over it. Again, I realize it could have been due to him grooming Sashley, which is 100% a possibility, and I don't want to speak more on this for that reason. Now, here is just something to clear up. My friend informed me that Goat Cato deleted my comment. If Goat didn't, then it honestly just somehow disappeared, because I've been off of this account for 2 days? Due to being sick, I didn't delete the comment. It was full of info. I would have never deleted that, lol. It could have been deleted by YouTube a day late, actually, but I'm not about to retype that essay. This is a more refined version of the This is a more refined version of the pinned comment? Oh, honey. I may have made a few mistakes here because this is so long, and I'm honestly impressed if anyone reads this. Sorry if I say anything iffy here, and you're free to correct me if you have the place to. Thank you for reading. Again, like I said in the now gone comment on Goat's video, I don't hate Goat Cato, lol, trust me, I don't even dislike them. Their video was good, but it really lacked a few things, and turned out looking like it was in Sashley's defense, unfortunately, which I know wasn't Goat's intention. Okay, bye for real this time. Sorry, this is so messy. Can we get back to Goat Cato, please? I'm so sick of shit stain.
One of my old statements in my videos was the usage of the R slur and the F slur. It has come to my opinion that if you are not a man or you do not identify as a man, you cannot say the F slur. And by that I mean if you're a man who loves another man.
What if you're friends with a gay guy who's okay with you calling him the F slur and it's like a part of your friendship back and forth? Like, who was Sashley talking to?
Basically, if you're gay, the only time you can reclaim the F slur.
I thought the F slur was for all of queers. I thought that too, but apparently it originally just referred to male homosexuals, which is the basis of their argument that you can only reclaim it if you're a gay man, which that just makes me wonder, was Sashley talking to a gay dude?
Slur usage is really, really kind of controversial, but in my opinion, just don't say it. If you can't reclaim it, don't say it.
Trans women get called that fucking slur all the time. Oh shit, that's right. And Sashley is non-binary, which is under the trans umbrella.
And if you're not sure that you can reclaim it, don't say it. As for Sashley's usage of the R slur, I do agree that whether you're autistic or ADHD or not, you most likely shouldn't be using the R slur in a negative way towards others, as that's not necessarily the proper way to reclaim it.
So what the fuck is the proper way to reclaim it? I mean, I guess it's using it as a happy term? Like when people refer to one another as my N-word or whatever. Do people refer to other autistic people as my R-word? I don't like the implications of that.
So I agree with Poopy on that one here. Speaking of slur usage...
Don't agree with Shitstain.
Here's some things that Sashley did do regarding her joking about racial slurs and such like that.
Okay, so this is the Genshin thing?
So I'm just gonna go ahead and show the screenshots. Also next to the screenshots, I'm going to put her excuse, or whatever you want to call it. Me personally, I would take it with a grain of salt. Regardless of her statements, it still doesn't excuse what she said and what she did.
The first thing was taken way out of context. Me and said person were talking about drama, and the topic switched to Black Lives Matter, and I was saying how I had believed it did more harm than good. I never said the movement itself nor the intentions were bad. I simply stated that everything was going downhill. Example, being how assaults were occurring, rioting, companies and people exploiting the movement for personal gain, using charity money to buy mansions, and just overall violence. Like, my point wasn't that I'm racist, my point was that a genuine good cause was being used for terrible intentions.
Apparently she's only expressed remorse for the...
Okay, wait, what was the F slur? The F slur, I had this toxic friend back in January who was highly homophobic due to his religion. He'd vent to me a lot and sometimes get blank. He told me he felt like an F slur for venting about it.
When it comes to racial and homophobic slurs and a problematic past, you cannot just simply sweep that under the rug. That stuff sticks with you forever, and it's appropriate to address them whenever they are brought up.
But she didn't sweep it under the rug. She fucking apologized in the post that you acknowledged and said you didn't think you could fucking believe because it was 9 months old!
In a mature and rational way, instead of just trying to excuse it or hide it. Because if you've really changed as a person, you would feel genuine regret for what you did.
So, like the post that she wrote, that the shit stain was all like, I do not believe!
And there would be evidence of you changing as a person to better your ways and to better educate yourself.
Incidentally, it's a lot easier to find evidence of someone doing something bad than it is to find evidence of them doing something good. I can't say whether she has or hasn't, but apparently she doesn't think white racism exists anymore, so you acknowledge that she has grown and developed as a person, despite the fact that you... Oh, good fucking lord.
Educating oneself. Based on what Ash has told me, she no longer believes that white racism is a thing, and she was misinformed. But at the same time, like, when has white racism ever been a thing?
It doesn't matter if it was a thing. It matters that she was informed that it was a thing. It doesn't have to be real for someone to be misinformed about it.
I don't recall ever being hate crimes
or
for
being
fuck's
sake,
because
goat!
Male skin, male monkey. Oh, like, bro, I'm white. I don't get hate crimes on the daily because of my skin color. Racial prejudice is a thing, but whites cannot be systematically. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. I'm kind of down. White people can't be oppressed. Have never
in America. Oh my god, the narrow worldview is really showing here.
Never been oppressed. And you
It's never happened to me, thus it doesn't exist.
You might find it weird that I'm talking about this because I'm white, but like, I'm white. I would know that I've never experienced racism before. And it's genuinely shocking that some people still think that white racism is a thing. It's just, bro, are you fucking stupid? Like, no offense. I get if someone makes fun of you for being white or whatever, or picks on you for being white or whatever, you'd be upset, but it's not like that happens all the damn time.
It's not like that happens all the damn time. So you acknowledge it does happen. So you acknowledge it does happen after you just said it's not a thing from your narrow American worldview. America's the only country that exists. Ah!
Most of the time, from what I've seen, people are joking about it. Plus, like I said, none of us are hate crimes or oppressed for our skin colors, so we really don't have necessarily that much of a right.
Yeah, but you can be racially, you can be ethnically prejudiced against for your ethnic background, which you can be white and have a different ethnic background from somebody else and therein experience prejudice because of it. This is why I can't take this shit seriously. They're always based on their personal worldviews without considering the other countries and therefore social issues exist. Yeah. And if Sashley is actually Romanian, like, who's to say that she hasn't experienced discrimination because of her ethnic background? It may not necessarily be discrimination because white, but this is not necessarily to say that white people who are white cannot experience ethnic discrimination.
Most of the time when I do see white people being made fun of, it's when they've done something atrocious, like be racist or speak on things they can't speak about.
Fair.
Which, that's not fucking racism, that's just common sense, not to speak about things you have no say in. I want to go over the DDLG and the child coding claims and stuff like that. I really don't fucking like DDLG, and I don't like child-coded characters. However, this is a bit of a tricky situation, because while I can see why people think that Ash's character is minor-coded, at the same time it's tricky because number one, she's ageless, number two, I have never seen Ash state that her character was a minor.
Oh, but remember, Shitstain said that some random people on the internet said that Ashley said that, so I guess you have to believe them.
In the time when she tried to claim that it was a minor to get people to stop drawing porn because it made her uncomfortable, but then apparently she switched it back to being ageless once people stopped drawing porn of her, I guess? I don't know, the whole thing was just fucking crazy. I really think that you're uncomfortable. Tried to claim that it was a minor to get people to stop drawing porn because it made her uncomfortable, but then apparently she switched it back.
Oh my fucking god. So Goat Cato is even providing, like, potential additional context that may have explained why Sashley allegedly claimed the character to be 10 years old. Oh, I love it. I hate it, but I love it.
I really think that the whole DDLG is just based on people's view of the situation. Some people view it as DDLG and child-coded. Some people just view it as cutesy. Me personally, it's hard for me to have an opinion because...
No, Sashley realized people would not stop drawing porn of her OC and decided it was no use. Yeah, if people decide they're gonna draw porn of a character, they don't fucking give a shit what you say the character's canon age is.
Kind of fucking switches back and forth for me mentally. It's just confusing. So, I'd say it's up to the viewer of the art piece to try and figure that out. I'm just gonna back out of this one. Plus, I don't want weird diaper freaks in the comments being like, it's not DDLG, or DDLG isn't even sexual.
Okay, wow, so you already are misinformed because you think diaper stuff is DDLG. I mean, I guess it probably can be, but those things are not inherently the same kink. Oh, so the people who are drawing porn of a child's OC aren't in the wrong, but the child who's uncomfortable is? Right? Fucking, oh my god. The child who may have changed the canon age to stop people because they were uncomfortable is apparently at fault, because that means the character was always a child, and the child who made sexualized images of themselves is in the wrong.
Even though it's literally called Daddy Dom Little Girl, and the entire fucking DDLG shit is on a kink website. In my mind, there is a difference between
A single kink website?
Between DDLG and age regressing.
B is older than 25. I am 30. My 30-year-old getting confused for a 12-year-old for some fucking reason self. I will never get over that. Oh my god, I'm gonna scream.
Where where you have a caretaker. DDLG in my mind is strictly sexual, and age regression...
DDLG, in my mind, is strictly sexual. So, again, you are judging it based on your narrow worldview. Cool. Love it. Great.
Which is supposed to be non-sexual, is just how people cope with their childhood trauma. Now, whether you do DDLG or not, that's really not my fucking business, but I think you're fucking weird.
That's, like, fair. I wonder if people realize DDLG doesn't have to be sexual. My friend is a dom for hire. A lot of what they do is comforting their client in non-sexual ways. Yeah, I've heard that a lot of DDLG stuff is non-sexual in nature. That's not to say that there isn't sexual DDLG stuff, but a lot of it can be non-sexual in nature, and that's usually where the age regression stuff comes from. Yeah, blame the person, not the group. The trauma is understandable to, like, the nth degree. The trauma is understandable, but the hatred is misplaced. Yeah, your trauma is not everyone else's fault. Your trauma is only the fault of the person who traumatized you.
Accuse me of being an asshole for speaking up about that.
I won't accuse you of being an asshole, but I will accuse you of being ignorant on a matter and maybe needing to seek therapy.
Regarding the pro-shipping accounts, I kind of do agree with Poopy Butthole. If it has 18 plus in the literal username of the account, then you probably shouldn't be following it, especially if you're a minor or you have a minor audience. It is up to you. It is your responsibility to ensure that you and your audience don't get exposed to pornographic material. I'm not quite sure what Sashley's thought process was when following that account, but...
Her thought process was probably, porn, yes, horny. I don't know who I'm following at all. I used to just follow everyone. They said I should have known because the art is all Genshin incest, but I don't know a thing about Genshin. Plus, yeah, you would have to, like, consciously be aware. Plus, is this, like, the situation where it's, like, the characters who are supposed to be, like, blood brothers but aren't actually related? Because I've heard people get accused of being into incest because of that, despite the fact that the characters are not fucking related. They most likely drew a safe for work piece once, and I was like, nice art follows you. It's how everyone is. I don't actively try to follow these people.
I want to go over my comments on the Asian fetishization. The reason why I didn't necessarily think it's fetishizing, though, let me state, I don't actually have a say in this as I'm not Asian. To me, whenever somebody says that's—
Wait, Goat, I thought you said you weren't allowed to talk on issues like this if you weren't a POC of that ethnicity, and now you're saying, like, oh, I did talk about it, but also now Shitstain has changed my mind, so I'm gonna talk about it from the other side. It's like, well, now you're talking about it from both sides, despite the fact that you just acknowledged to us that you're not Asian.
Something is fetishized, I usually think of it being sexual. And with the stuff that was posted and provided, I didn't necessarily see anything sexual with it, so I wasn't exactly sure what was wrong with it. However, this is up to my Asian audience to decide whether or not it's problematic. I don't really have a say in it. Same thing goes with her using Asian language in her
Asian language? Just say Korean!
artwork, which apparently,
I'm gonna feel really bad if that wasn't actually Korean and I'm just stupid.
She wrote poopy in Korean, I think? I don't know. She wrote poopy in some sort of Asian language and just put it in her artwork, which...
I'm very dumb and it's hard for me to visually distinguish some languages from another. I'm so sorry. I also tend to misread a lot.
Is like okay, I guess. I don't see how that's appreciating the language, but still kind of weird.
I have a problem with this whole, I'm letting this group decide if this is racist or not, because in this situation, for example, some Asian people would think that this is a bad thing, but also some who think it is a bad thing and Sash needs to stop. Or think it's not a bad thing, but also some who think it is a bad thing and Sash needs to stop. Yeah, it's sort of a case-by-case basis, and it's incidentally kind of weird to be treating Asian individuals as if they would all be of this exact same mentality.
With my videos, criticism is always welcome as long as it's civil and has educational purposes. Not someone calling me a fucking child predator or a rape.
Wait. Exactly, and she is a racist apologist and supports grooming. She defended Foxy Boxy, so yeah, she's probably a child predator as well? What the fuck? Yeah. So, literally, if you say, I disagree with you, they're like, oh, so you're probably a pedophile. Yeah, so Goat Cato was probably harassed into giving Shitstain the time of day. So I was probably right. I do not support grooming. What the hell is wrong with you? Remember, Goat Cato is trans-masc, so technically they should be using he, they pronouns, not she. Also, I'm not a rape apologist. Are you ill? Also, I love how you accuse me of being a predator based on your misinformed take. What's wrong with you? You support grooming. The screenshots provided from the Foxy Boxy stuff had no actual proof of grooming, no manipulation, etc. And the age gap wasn't even big. Victim was turning 14. Foxy was 15! Oh my god. People were calling Foxy a groomer and a pedophile for fuck's sake. She's a racist apologist. No, literally, what is wrong with you? I have addressed what both Sashley and Tofux did/said. I explained what Sashley did and didn't do. And if you bother to look at the comment section, you can literally see that I agree with Shitstay and other people about Sashley being racist, question mark, question mark. Also, I don't use she, her pronouns, lol, it's he, they. Thank you for the confirmation, it is he, they. People need to realize just because they think a character looks like a child doesn't mean that's the goal. I am somebody who likes making extremely short characters. I have an adult character who reached his girlfriend's thigh height-wise. Doesn't mean he's a child. I just do it because I am personally extremely short and I'm used to major height differences, so I reflect that in my art. Same can be said probably for most reasons people will say an OC is child-coded. In my opinion, which doesn't matter, but I'll say it anyways, your opinion always matters. Ash doesn't even look that much like a child. She's just very small, which again can really be a design choice. Small adults exist, you know, some with other age groups. It makes me really mad because I had a friend try to convince us that an artist was making pedophilic art just because one character was smaller than the other, even though the artist said they were of age. I don't remember the artist's name, however. It also really annoys me since I am extremely short, 4'9" for context, Ellie size. I am almost an adult and I like drawing big height differences myself because of that. Very, very good. The fact that someone called Shitstain is the one keeping the art community sane in this situation. Honey. So that was an experience. How did you guys like that? I kind of want to feel bad for Goat here because obviously he was harassed and wanted to look over it, but also this does suck ass. A lot of this is old and ignored any accountability taken from Sash and shaming them for things they can't control. Yeah, and the reason for like being all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ignore Sashley taking accountability is because it was 9 months old, but then apparently it's still okay to bring up the shit from when Sashley was 12, which is 3 years old, bordering on 4 years at this point. Like, people don't change between 16 and 12. If Shitstain is keeping the art community sane, we're doomed as a species. Yeah.